Okay, without further ado, let's just get started. It's time for another Valo Intranet Partner webinar. Um, so here's the agenda. This is mostly about the product updates now, what's happening in the product development. We are also planning on a separate webinar or series of webinars for developers, like how to customize Valo Intranet as a partner. More on that later. Here's an overview of the product roadmap. So now we are in late October. So the next release will be out in November. And there's the new teamwork coming out. There's a couple of more languages and the new My Tools component. And as always, many more minor updates and fixes. Then the release after that will be February, and after that in May next year. So the next release, as I said, 1.14, 30th of November. The really big thing here that we've been talking about for a while, for a long time already, is the Teamwork 2.0, which is the provisioning engine for Office 365 groups and the overview of all of your collaboration spaces. We have great progress on that, and I will show you a live demo soon. We're adding always new languages as well. So with these 3 languages here added, we have the capability to install Valo Intranet in 17 different languages right out of the box. And those 17 languages also apply to the Teamwork module right from the first release. So the Teamwork module will also be available in 17 different languages. We already released this hotfix some weeks ago for the latest video component, just so you know, for those of you who missed it perhaps. So for the customers who are using this latest video component, it's an add-on of the intranet, so it's not being used by everybody. Yeah, there was a hotfix especially for Internet Explorer and Edge, where we noticed that with those browsers it was loading the whole video file. So it was a performance issue, and that was fixed as a hotfix. So for those customers who didn't take that hotfix, this fix will be included in this 1.14 release. We are always working on the mobile app as well. So what we've done recently is we've added some error handling there. We've added the offline mode, and right now we are testing and we're about to release this new version of the mobile app. And yeah, then we're always planning on the next step as well. For the mobile app, we are thinking about a visual facelift and also improve the logic, the way that the news are personalized by user profile and such things, and also other crazy ideas for the mobile app. This release will also include this My Tools 2.0 that I will also show you with a live demo. And we're also working on, with a little bit of uncertainty yet, but with a couple of other topics here, namely a waitlist feature for the Event Hub or Event Calendar, and this world clock. And as always, there's a very long list of fixes and minor improvements in every release. So is here. So this is also only a small subset of them. There was an issue with the current Teamwork module. If a user was a member of more than 500 workspaces, it wasn't actually displaying all of them. So that is fixed. The Our People site is added as a template. The FAQ site template was not working in non-English installations. That is fixed. And the SharePoint Framework web parts for the classic pages. This is a really big thing because it makes the web part configuration a lot easier. That feature came out a while ago already, but now we are working on enabling it and making it easy to deploy it everywhere, so that we could basically replace these current web parts by default with the SharePoint Framework web parts. Obviously only right now only in Office 365, because on-premises the SharePoint framework I think is not there yet. For People Finder, we are localizing the advanced search fields. In mobile app, this is a bug, I guess. So the news that were in draft mode, they were displayed on the mobile app. Well, that one's fixed. Also the alert news that were pending or rejected, they were displayed. So that this kind of improvements and bug fixes we're always doing. So our team is focusing on always improving the product. That was the overview. Now let's have a look at this new Teamwork 2.0 module, what it is. So what it is, it's a provisioning engine for Office 365 groups. The biggest difference to this previous Teamwork module that we still have and that we're still supporting is that now you're not only creating and managing SharePoint team sites. Now you're using Office 365 groups and everything that's within them. So you are basically seeing the whole listing of your collaboration spaces in Office 365. You can have Teams, Planner, whatever you have there. So what we're seeing here, this is already the live version. So we are finalizing it, polishing it, and improving the performance, the login process, and all of that. So there's still work to do, but it looks like we have very good certainty right now that this will be out end of November. So this is how I order a new team site or a new group, because technically these are Office 365 groups really. So I'm ordering it like this, and this is where I define the owners and members of the group, and then I have the metadata. And this is one of the biggest benefits of our provisioning engine and this whole component, is that we're really surfacing the group metadata for all of the groups, so the users can define them in with the user interface. And this is the way the ordering process goes. And the acceptance, the approval of the groups is actually familiar to those of you who know the previous version of the Teamwork module in Valo, because it's this familiar list of orders, and then what the administrators do is they just approve or reject the orders from here, and then the actual creation of the group and everything that's in it is taken care of by our creation engine. And so once they're created, it looks like this. So I have groups here such as Finance Team Sweden, and I can go from this menu. I can enter all of the options I have there, all of those different applications that you always have in Office 365 groups. And then I can also go and see the metadata for this group and its members. And as an owner, I can also modify. So here I'm actually choosing which applications I want to enable display from the menu. So I might, in some scenarios, I might want to enable everything for the users, but for clarity's sake, maybe in some cases I just want to use, let's say, Planner and OneDrive, for instance. And I can also define the default app, meaning the default app where the users are get redirected to when they click on the title itself. So Finance Team Sweden, when I just go and click on the title like this, so we had SharePoint like defined as the default app for this team. So now I'm in SharePoint, and this is where the actual collaboration takes place. But it could be Teams or Planner or anything else. And as we saw from here, we can also directly access those other applications in there. I have favorites, so I can add a group to my favorites like this. And when a group is lacking metadata, and this is interesting because this will be the case in the beginning, I think, for many customers who start using it, then for the admin, there's this little icon here that's saying group metadata is missing. So they can go and modify and add the metadata so that afterwards the users can filter the groups like this based on the metadata. So the filter is there, and also the search, or the filtering is there obviously, so I can type in like this and I can just see those that have finance in the title. Then there's the documents, and this is already also working. So the documents and the discussions and the discovery. The documents, as soon as it loads, it will display all of the documents from across the groups that I'm a member of. Well, sometimes it takes time to load. Remember, this is still under development, so this is not yet ready. There's 1 month to go, and this is exactly the time when we are polishing the features and improving the performance and all of that. But this is the way it goes. So here I can see my latest documents from across all of the groups, meaning the documents I'm working on, and here the documents from my groups, meaning documents that others are perhaps working on. Then the discussions from my groups again, and also discovery, so I can discover groups and I can join them like this, so they will get added to my groups. So that's an overview of this Teamwork 2.0. So many partners might be asking how can we as a partner customize it, and how are we supposed to deliver it, and what parameters do we have? So this is what we have now. The so-called gold level, as we call it, where you kind of modify the information architecture without being an actual developer. That's where you can define what options you have under new group, meaning here. What options will appear here? So you can define this per customer. You can have different templates here. You can, for instance, create different templates with modern SharePoint sites and provide them here. And also the whole metadata model. So as you saw, when I'm ordering a new group, it opens this form here, and these, now it's only an example, it's filter value 1 and 2, but typically you would then have the metadata model that the customer wishes, like business area, country, function, whatever metadata the customer wants to define, so you as a partner can implement that. And those who are hardcore developers, here we're talking about the platinum level, you can also inject your own code into the provisioning process. So when a new group is being created, you can also add your additional activities there, such as email alerts or anything you wish into the process, or some integration to an external system, whatever. Yeah, and as I said, we're planning on organizing maybe late November a webinar where we go deeper into this and into the other topics of Valo customizations for developers. So this time it's just an overview like this. And when this comes out, it's only just the first version, and we have a really long big backlog and roadmap already for the things we want to enable next. One thing we want to enable pretty soon is facilitate the transition for those customers who are using the current Teamwork solution in Valo. So remember that this Teamwork 2.0 is only for Office 365 customers, but those customers who are, yeah, so for on-premises customers it's not there, but for Office 365 customers using Teamwork 1.0, there is this feature called Groupify, where you can groupify all of your SharePoint team sites. So create an Office 365 group behind it. And then we are also working on a feature for mass update of the properties. Because imagine if you are transforming your hundreds or thousands of team sites to this new model, and this new model has maybe more metadata than your previous sites had, then you don't want to go and click and modify each one like this. So we are working on automating that as well. Email alerts, just like a little bit like we have with the current Teamwork module. So when a new group is being created or triggers like that, then there will be email alerts. Also currently, when you're creating a new group, you cannot programmatically provision Microsoft Teams from there, unfortunately. So you have to create the group, and then in Teams you have to create the teams and attach that to the group. And same goes to Yammer. So as soon as that is available, we will support that as well. And what comes to the discussions is one tab here. So the goal here really is to make this a discussions aggregator where you have the discussions from Yammer, from Teams, and the discussions from the very Office 365 group. So in this first version, it's only the discussions from the group, but in the future, hopefully a more complete version. Join requests we want to implement as well. So for the private groups, people can fill in this join requests, and it will be accepted, and they can join the group. Group inactivation. Group dashboard is we're working on a feed or a summary page, so that instead of being just thrown into the group site like this, I would have a group dashboard open where I can see a summary of all the activities in one single group. My tasks is a feature that many customers have been asking for, and then also we are thinking about this add-in or add-on model for the teamwork module, so that bigger improvements or bigger additions would be then separate add-ons, such as maybe some sophisticated templates for steering group work or similar, or external connectors, so that you would not only be provisioning Office 365 groups, but you would also be creating workspaces in those external systems like Salesforce, Chatter, Slack, or Facebook Workplace. Yeah, so that's Teamwork 2.0. Then we haven't forgotten either the traditional intranet side. We are constantly working on modernizing Valo, the publishing intranet here. And one minor addition that we're adding in this release is the My Tools, which is the user's personal links. So we've received feedback for that and tried to make the UI more intuitive and add some features that were missing there. So the idea here is that the admins, they provide links available for the end users, and then the end users can choose from those admin links the links that they want, and the end users can also manage their personal links. So I can add a new link from here. I can also delete links like this, and I can also modify existing links. I can change their order, and I can also add the current page. So right now I'm reading the holidays page on the intranet, so I can just add that current page here, so it's like my bookmark for reading it afterwards. And there's technically in this My Tools feature, as you can see, the UI is still needs a little bit polishing, so we will finalize it by the time we get this release out. But so technically it's storing each user's links and preferences into one field in the user profile, which means that there's a character limitation of 3,600 characters, and there's a cool visual like storage progress bar visible when you are when it's getting full. So I don't have it here because this is not yet getting full, but if the users are, well, let's see if I'm actually seeing the progress bar already when I'm adding it here. No, so it will appear when it's almost full. So if there's a lot of personal links, then the storage might get full. Just a detail. Yeah, and also what comes to the rest of the publishing intranet, we're also starting the development of this new UI option, the Candela 2.0, and at the same time we're always looking at leveraging the modern pages in SharePoint and the modern experiences. Right now, there's an issue that everybody should know about, especially those of you who have on-premises customers. It seems like this is still a little bit open, but it seems like for some features that the admin toolpack is using, you might need the enterprise version of SharePoint license. Okay, so this is what we're investigating right now, and how to mitigate that, and we will let you know as soon as we know more about that. So this is only for on-premises customers who are using the administrator's toolpack and don't have the enterprise license of SharePoint. So we will keep you updated. As always, we are using this Yammer network as the main communication channel for our partner communications. That's it. This time that was all we had to announce. So we will just stay online for a while. So don't hesitate to type in your questions. So we will pick them up from there and answer. Okay, there's one question. Is the new mobile app also working with multiple tenants? So the mobile app works with multiple site collections within one tenant, but if you refer to multiple tenants, I don't think so. I mean, you log in to Office 365 with the Office 365 user when you open the mobile app, and it always has to connect to one tenant. I don't know if it's even possible to display news from many different tenants. We have Henrik online. Maybe you can comment something if that is even like theoretically possible.
Well, as you have said, the process right now is such that whenever you first load the Valo mobile application, you will be presented with the Microsoft Authenticator app, where you will be able to choose between the logins to different Office 365 environments that you have available, and at least for now, you'll choose which login you will be using, and then it will always be using that login for displaying news items. So at least for now, there's no support for multiple tenants within one Valo mobile application.
Thank you, Henrik. And the question was also, when will the new mobile app be available? It's a matter of days now. I would say this week or latest next week. So we are finishing the testing, and yeah, then it will be available. You can already become a beta tester, and you can already get this version we're talking about. So just let us know, send us an email, and you will be added to the beta program. That's really exciting.
One more thing while we are waiting for more questions. We had at least one partner reporting that he had received an incorrect link to this meeting, and was waiting for some 15 minutes in a wrong Skype for Business meeting, which did not have any other participants. Our apologies for that. As you have posted in the Yammer network, we had an issue with our own Office 365 environment with the PSTN licensing, which caused the invite to be sent multiple times. But if you joined late, don't worry, we have recorded the session, and we will be posting the link to this session afterwards anyways, as usual, so you'll have access to all the content anyways.
Very good point. Yes. Yeah, so we really recommend reading the partner Yammer network. There's also a very exciting news about the our plans for North America for next year, so go ahead and read it. Okay, then there's another question. Will there be a limit for group templates in Teamwork 2.0? Do you know about this, Henrik? I think no. I think technically there shouldn't be a specific limit. Like
no, there's no limit. Basically, you can create as many at least we are still in the stages of finalizing the implementation, but I think the plan for now is to provide as many the possibility to create as many templates as needed by partners. So yeah. That is our plan.
Is there an integration between Teamwork 2.0 and Microsoft Teams? Well, yes, and the goal is exactly that we would provision also Microsoft Teams. I mean, Microsoft Teams is always using Office 365 groups in the background, so in that sense there is already the integration, because I'll just share my screen again. So what I'm seeing here is my Office 365 groups, and if in one team...
It's still loading.
Oh.
So, yeah, now it's visible.
Okay, so if we have Microsoft Teams available, existing in one group, then you can access Teams from here as well. So Teams is there as an option, and yeah, so that is, it is possible to access Teams from here as well, from the groups listing. What is not yet possible programmatically is to create an Office 365 groups with Microsoft Teams already there. So we'd obviously, what we want to do is not just create and enable Microsoft Teams from here, but also create like customized templates for Microsoft Teams, like different templates, a little bit like what we do with SharePoint. So different templates for different uses, so you would have the tabs already created there and configured in a certain way. That is not yet possible, but as soon as it's there, then we will of course include that in our product as well. So yes, Teams is a very central element in our strategy here, and also yeah, obviously, well, the documents are from OneDrive, and also, as I said, as soon as it's possible to get the discussions from Teams programmatically, we will include them here, so that in one discussion feed you would have them, the Teams discussions as well. Yes. Okay, question about multilingual for Valo mobile app. Actually, it's not only in English. I think it's available in like 3 or 4 languages. They are defined in the product description, but it was in Spanish and Swedish, Finnish and English, something like that. But definitely, if anytime there's a wish or a need for additional languages, then we will enable it. It's actually rather easy to translate the Valo mobile app into any additional languages. There are very few UI terms there. So we're doing this whole product development so that you can sell this product better in your market. So that's why we always want to hear from you what kind of features and modifications and additions you would like us to add to the product. So I understand the person asking about multilingual for Valo app would like to have that in German, I suppose. So that is something that we will then work on next. Okay, we will just stay here for a couple of more minutes in case of further questions. Okay, there's a couple of more questions online. So one question is, if we install the update, and I assume it, yeah, refers to the teamwork now. So if we install the update, I assume the already existing teams or groups will be the current teams, and newly created will be modern teams. Is there an option for updating the old teams? Yeah. So what happens when you install Teamwork 2.0? I'll just share my screen again. This is really interesting. So this is the previous or the current Teamwork or Workspaces solution. So here, these are SharePoint team sites, and when you install the new Teamwork, this will display your Office 365 groups. So if these team sites in your current environment don't yet have an Office 365 group attached to them, then you have to apply this, what Microsoft refers to as the groupify features, so that they will then start showing here in this list, in this roll-up of groups. And then after that, you will just have to define the metadata for each group. So that's the way it will, you will then have everything displayed in one view. Next question, in groups there is right now no permission level for read-only. Do you know if something is planned by Microsoft? Does anybody know? I have to say I don't know if there's anything on the Microsoft roadmap for that.
Well, as Sebastian is writing, there is the site visitors functionality in SharePoint site, but which applies only for the modern SharePoint sites that sit within the groups. But yeah, there's not really a read-only functionality to well, Planner or other places at the moment. And that's maybe up to the individual product groups within Microsoft to provide that functionality.
Yeah, the big picture is a little bit confusing maybe, because in SharePoint you still have those really fine-grained permission levels and groups and all of that, and it's not the same as the Office 365 groups permission management, which is very plain and simple, only owners and members, right? Okay. So looks like maybe there are no more questions, so we can just wrap this up. So remember, whatever. Okay, there's one more question. Do you guys have any baseline performance metrics from using Valo deployed to Office 365? Is there a performance benefit that we could use as a sales differentiator over a conventional SharePoint intranet not using Valo? That's a very good question, and that's something we're talking about with many customers and partners. So the thing is that the performance of your intranet depends a lot on the content, the images, what you have there, and also, but so you know, Valo is not adding really anything exotic on top of it. So what we don't have, for instance, our custom content database somewhere or anything like that that would make a bottleneck. So we've been really careful about how we design the product. I don't know if we could say that we have sales differentiators over, well, what is a conventional SharePoint intranet? I don't know. A conventional SharePoint intranet or a modern SharePoint intranet might be just something that's developed in a modern way and according to best practices of Microsoft, just like we're doing. So, but what we know is that one of our sales differentiators over other turnkey intranets is exactly the performance. So some other products might have more customizations or more exotic things there that are slowing down the pages, and we don't.